Right, hi everyone. So a lot of the videos that I've put out recently, fantastic comments. Some people saying, well, I don't get that sort of lies at my golf course, or you know, they're not the sort of lies I tend to get. Well, this video is about having a bit of fun, and I'm going to show you how you can play from all sorts of lies and still hopefully get it on the greens. This is about the ability to adapt, change how you think, change how that club enters into the ball, and still get quality strikes, still get that ball hopefully close to the hole, but at least on the green. Okay, so we're going to pick some lies that hopefully cover all the bad lies that you tend to get on a golf course. The first one here, the ball is sitting in quite a sort of a steep divot. Like, there's a divot there, you can see it's sitting down into a little bit of a hole there. Now, if I try and play my regular chip and run shot from here, there's a good chance it will get thinned because I can't really get that leading edge down under the ball. So I sort of slightly thin that, and you can see the ball is racing past the pin. Okay, now you have to be able to adapt. So if I had this lie here, I need to make sure that I'm going to get my club face on to the ball. So I need to be making sure my leading edge is more down, my loft is more this way, so I can get into the back and kind of stun it a little bit more. So I'm going to use a lofted club. I'm going to use my 56 because obviously I'm de-lofting it. It's going to mean it's going to come out lower, but it'll still check a little bit. But the main thing here is get a contact and not get the thin shot. So I'm going to play the ball outside my back foot. I'm going to put lots of shaft lean in, kind of everything I've told you not to do from a normal setup, but this isn't normal. This is sitting in a hole. So the ball goes back, hands go forward, there's a little bit of hinge, and then we hold the angle and with no release here, just to make sure that leading edge gets into the back of the ball. And you can see how that was nicely struck. It's got a little bit of spin and it's sort of controlling down the slope pretty good to about 4 or 5 feet. You know, we'll take that from that lie. But the key there, reading the lie. Don't panic when you get bad lies, by the way. I don't even like the word bad lies. I think it's just called challenging lies. You've got to have the ability to adapt, okay? And then there's no such thing as a bad lie. There's just different techniques. So that's the first one. Let's see what we can find next. So, compact mud. Okay, so yeah, compact mud lie, tight pin position, a little bit of a fringe. Not going to fancy using any release here because I start releasing the club, it's just going to go under the ball will just go a few feet in front of me. So, got to get the club face on the ball again. So, a few options here. I quite like a pitching wedge for a lot of you. I think this would work quite well. You're slightly in the lap of the gods because you're landing it in the sort of fringe before. You don't quite know what bounce you're going to get, but as I said at the beginning of the video, this is about getting a contact, okay? Anywhere on the green is pretty good. If you get inside 15 feet from here, you're quite happy. So I'm going to play a pitching wedge, narrow a sole on a pitching wedge, easy off these lies. Hands forward, release one with the ball slightly further back than normal, keep the flight down, pinch it. Played that really nicely actually. But again, the only thing I played it nicely, I just used the right club. Narrow sole with the pitching wedge. Visualize it going into that bank. If I here and I'm looking, well, I've got to go in the air a little bit more because there isn't much green, and I start trying to release the club, it's not going to end well. I'm probably going to be chipping again. So the key there, wedge, less loft, work it forward. If you weren't keen on that and you wanted to use a little bit more loft and press it, you could, like a 60. The only danger of doing this is you haven't really got any forgiveness whatsoever, because if you do come in a little bit heavy, it still will dig in quite severely. So you could play it this way as well, 60 way outside the back foot, and again try and nip it. But you see there's a little bit too much spin on that, it got caught up in the slope, still got it on the green, but I prefer the pitching wedge there. So hopefully that makes sense, just less loft, pinch it, pitching wedge is the club there. Right, now sometimes you might be sitting on compact mud and you have no green to work with, like this situation. Now I know there's a slope here and it might be wise to use something like an 8-iron and hit it into the bank here, but let's imagine that's a bunker or a pond and you've got to go in the air, you've got forced to go high. Now I would recommend most of you just to play that ball back in a stance with a lofted club, have a hinge in the backswing and play it as a release one. Just get the ball first and hit it past the pin like that. Okay, so that's pretty good. A lot of spin actually there. Let's say you want to get it even closer than that and you want to take it on. Tough shot, but I'll go through it. You want to be using your most lofted club, ideally a low bounce lob wedge if you've got one. This is a tailor-made high toe. It has 7 degrees of bounce, but it also has toe relief. You shave down on the toe, so it means I've got a chance of getting a toe underneath the ball. We're going to go high handle to put the toe down even more. We're going to aim left, swing out to in, keep moving through it here, keep some chest speed in it and see if we can get a bit more height to stop it quicker. So you can see that's got more height on it, a lot more spin, very hard to judge, really tough shot. I'd recommend you play the first one. Now sometimes the ball just trickles into a bunker. We're short-sided, no green to work with, and we've got this lie. Now I'd love to get both my feet in the sand there, but I just can't do it. So in this sort of situation, you want to get one leg in. It's a good test of the groin here. All right, so we really put for me, my right foot, really get that into the sand, put some flex in there. Obviously you've got to get as much pressure in that left as well, just to try and keep your balance, because you don't want to go that way. Okay, but here, it's just really getting a bit of hinge. Feels like on this slope the ball's going to pop out to the right, so I'm going to aim as much as I can to the left. I've got my 60 here. I'm going to hinge. I'm just going to stick the club in the ground. Hopefully it pops out. As long as I'm avoiding a second bunker shot here, I'll be fairly happy. Here we go. Try and miss my right leg in the backswing. That's the difficult thing here. Right, hinge and just pop the heel in. Oh, there we go. Get in. Well, that worked pretty well. So no such thing as a bad lie, right? Just get yourself balanced, okay? And then you just use a bit of hinge, no rotation in this one, and pop it out as close as that. All right, so you've got a plugged lie, really plugged lie, lots of sand. The ball's landed in there. You can barely see any of the ball at all. So we're going to play this with a wide open face. So we're going to use the heel to dig in, aim left, put some shaft lean in, grip it fairly tight here, particularly with the left hand because it's going to want to grab it here, and just hinge early, stick it in the sand and pop her out. There we go, out it goes, lands fairly soft still, but up and down. Okay, so even plugged lies, don't let them scare you if you know that technique. Just hinge, down, be aggressive, put the club in the sand and watch it pop out. Okay, so on the down slopes, if you don't adapt here, you're going to hit like a foot behind the ball. So if I use my usual technique here and swing, I'm going to hit right back or even catch the lip there. So need to adapt. I'm going to go much more this way so I can go with the slope. Don't go releasing the club too much here. It's a one if anything. Okay, so we're down the grip, lean this way, accept the ball's going to come out lower and it's going to run more. Okay, that's all you can do. You're going to use your most lofted club, my 60, to offset some of the flatter flight you were going to inevitably get. So down the grip, lean left, hinge early, not much release. That's as good as I can play it. If it runs on past the hole, which it has, that's probably what, 10, 12 feet? We'll take that from that situation, okay? I can't risk getting any release into that because I'm going to blade it, okay? So that's how you play that shot. Most loft, down, hinge, release one, get the contact. That's still a fairly high lip, and I think it cleared it fairly easily. So don't get too intimidated with this shot once you know the basics. Try and feel it. So you've hit an okay shot, decent contact towards the green. Just come off the side here, and you've got this great big pine tree right next to your ball, and you're not left-handed. How do you play it? Well, it's very hard to create any sort of stance here, you see. So I'm going to hit my leg. So I've got to make some sort of adjustment here. What I would do, if it was me in this situation, is I would do this sort of backhanded shot this way. So I've got my 60 because I want to get the highest part of the club there. This is a 60 which is on the toe there, so nice, plenty of club face mass on it. And we're going to put the club down. Obviously you've got to look round and sort of play for the aim a little bit. Feet parallel, ball just back of the toe line there. And the key here is just to let this swing on one plane, right? So you're not coming in or going out, you're just going to let this club just swing up and down. No follow through, just let it hinge and come down. Okay, again, anything on the green is good here. Okay, let's do this right, okay. Let's try and feel it. Decent contact. And go on. Genuinely, that was first take, okay. But that's hinge, pop it down, and let it run out. No reason you can't almost hold it, okay? Okay, we all know that golf sometimes puts us in all sorts of situations, and this is one of those. Deep in the ferns, I've just thrown the ball in, okay, it's kind of sitting under a fern as well, and I've got, what, about 30 yards to the pin over some rough, so I think I'll be quite happy just to get this anywhere out and chip and try and get up and down from my chip, to be honest here. But yeah, I'm going to go. You're allowed to fairly make your stance in the ferns, okay? This is a real problem, this thing that's coming right out. But I'm going to play the ball back. I've got a really wide stance, okay? And it's kind of sitting right under a fern as well, so this could deflect anywhere. Main thing is just to try and get it out of here. So I've got my 60, I'm going to hinge. As I go back, I'm going to move this fern. That's okay, that can happen as a natural part of your swing. You're going to come down, lots of hinge. I'm going to have huge sharpening when I've hit it. Quite a bit of speed. On the green would be unbelievable. Anywhere out, I'm happy with here. All sorts of things. It's sitting. My worry is it's sitting, there's a fern right on top of the ball, and I think that's just going to knock it straight down. This might not even get out. Let's give it a go. Okay. Hinge, down, no follow through. Better see the ball. Hinge, down, no follow through. Okay. Come out fairly well. Great contact actually. It was fine. Come up about 3 or 4 yards short of the green. Hopefully I get that up and down. Main thing I got the contact. Nice and wide. Really solid base. Hinge, down. Really held tight with my left hand. Stopped the club twisting. Got the back of the ball. Popped it out fine. So no, even out of these lies, okay, you can still get it out if you know the basics. Okay, so we're now in the rough, and both of these lies are really sitting down. Okay, there's lots of grass behind it. It's really thick. It's turned over the ball. Now, if we're going out to that back pin there, this makes it a little bit easier. You want to you can flight it down and run it out. I'm using a 60. A lot of the shots in this video I've used a 60. As I joke in my book, 60s are for emergency only. Most of the shots today have been emergencies, hence why we've used it more. So the ball is sitting down. I'm going to play this towards the back foot, hands forward, hinge early because I've got to get steeper here. I've got to make sure I'm not coming in too shallow or else the club's going to get caught. I'm going to hinge, not much follow through, really keep the hands forward. Land it short and we'll see if it can run out, okay? It's not going to get any spin out of this lie, so that's going to sort of help you out in this situation with the back pin. So hinge early, move it forward, and you can see that's going to come out a little bit of topspin and work its way out quite nicely towards the hole, okay? So that's good. Now, if I've got a similar lie and I've got less green to work with, this isn't particularly a nice situation. You can play it the same way, take your medicine, hit it past the pin. Absolutely, that probably is a shot for most of you. If you want to get a bit more ambitious and try and stop it a little bit quicker, you can set up in a steep fashion this way. You can add steepness in the downswing, and last second, just put a tiny bit of release in. So a bit more advanced here, okay? So we're going to go left, down the grip, nice and tight in the grip pressure, steep, pop a bit of release at the bottom and try and get some height. So you can see that still come off fairly softly, giving myself a 6-7 footer still to try and make par. Okay, but you can see it's a release 3 here, but it's like a steep 3 just to pop it up. But again, you've got to weigh the situation up. That's quite a fancy shot. Sometimes you're better off just trying to make the contact and get it past the pin. So shots out the rough, not a problem, but you've got to read the lie, think about your angles of attack and make those adjustments that you need to get the contact. Okay, so we've got a wet lie, downslope, no green to work with whatsoever. Not an easy shot, not a nice position to be in. So slightly more advanced, I would use your 60. I would have a bit of hinge, release 1, try and land it on the green and spin it. Okay, so this is option 1. Wide stance to try and get down with the slope. Hinge, down the slope. It's going to come out low. Have a little bit of spin. Come on, form today, that's pretty good. Right, now, if you didn't fancy that, because that is quite a tough shot sort of skill-wise, a really good option, if you have one in the bag, is a hybrid. So I've got a number 4 hybrid here. Again, tricky because you've got to run it through the fringe here, mud, you know, a few divots around. It might sort of get deflected, but I think this is the percentage play. You can just use your putting action, bit of ball speed, and get it up the slope there. So here we go, hybrid swing, but very much a putting stroke. And you see that pops it and kind of runs out. Hard to judge. I mean, actually that's gone off miles there, hasn't it? But let's try it one more time. Not hit it quite so hard. I don't want to feel here, really. Bit smoother. Get to the top. There we go. That's better. Hard to stop it, obviously. But you know, if you're in this situation, for a lot of you, you're just getting that on the green and 2 putting and walk away with 3 shots from here as a result. So hybrid, definitely, if you feel the first shot is too much for you. Okay, so down slopes, wet slopes. Think about what shot you're going to use. 60, hinged, release one, or a hybrid, and just run and get it somewhere on the green. So I hope for this video has shown you that there is no such thing as a bad lie. There are just different scenarios you face, whether it's one leg in the bunker, or on a downslope, or in the ferns, or in a bit of mud, or whatever. Don't panic, just think about how you can adapt, think about your ball position, think about your angle of attack and your release, still get that good contact, and as I've shown you today, you can still get some of those up and down, but the main thing is, try not to chip twice, try to get that ball on the green, take 2 putts from there, and move on and avoid those disasters. Hopefully that's helped, and see you soon.